Some books are just stories, right? But then there are others that are, well, they're ciphers. And today we are diving deep into one of the most complex ones I've come across in a long, long time, The Leopard in the Mirror. I mean, this thing is a wild ride. It's an epic poem that mashes up myth, metaphysics, hip hop, and even a kind of spiritual math. So yeah, let's get into it and try to decode this thing together.
Okay, so right at the heart of this entire work is one single, really powerful symbol, the leopard. And look, this is not just an animal we're talking about. This symbol has some seriously deep roots. I mean, think about Dante's Inferno. The leopard there represents the sins of the flesh, right? It's the first thing blocking the path to enlightenment. And then you have African secret societies, like the Ikbe, where the leopard is all about power and justice. So what the author does is pull from all of this history to build something totally new, a guardian that forces us to look right at ourselves.
And right away, the author frames this whole journey with a really famous biblical question. Can the leopard change his spots? You've heard that before, right? But he's asking something deeper. Can we change our fundamental nature? And that question, that idea of transformation, well, that becomes the engine that drives this entire poem. So that brings us to the big mystery we're going to try to unravel here. What exactly is this leopard in the mirror? I mean, what does it truly represent? And maybe more importantly, what is it reflecting back at us? All right, so where do we even begin with that? Well, the very first clue the author gives us completely flips our expectations on their head. To really get what this symbol is all about, we have to just throw out that whole image of a predator and get ready for a totally new idea. And this quote from Canto, I just lays it out for us, plain and simple. It says, "The leopard came not as predator, but as mirror." So right there, we know we're not dealing with some kind of external threat. This isn't about an animal hunting you down. It's a mirror. Its whole purpose is to make you turn your gaze inward. Those golden eyes, they're not for hunting. They're portals for looking into yourself. And this comparison here just nails that shift in perspective, doesn't it? On one side, you have everything we think of when we hear predator. But on the other, you have what this leopard actually is in the book. A mirror, an inner guardian, a symbol pointing you toward knowing yourself. So the journey isn't about surviving some attack. It's about whether you can survive looking at yourself, really looking. Okay, so we've established the leopard is a mirror. Got it. But it's not just some cold, silent piece of glass hanging on a wall. Oh no. The next piece of this puzzle shows us that this mirror has a pulse, a living rhythm. And that beat connects our own personal reflection to something way, way bigger. This is where things get really interesting. In Canto 4, the symbolism just explodes with a whole new layer when we meet this incredible figure, the Leopard of Funk. Seriously. And this character, this is the living, breathing embodiment of how spirit and culture are connected. And man, check out this line. He wore rhythm like a crown of mirrors. He said, "The funk ain't a genre, it's a memory." That's powerful stuff. So funk here isn't just music, you see. It's something deeper, an ancestral memory, a rhythm that we all share that connects us through time. That means the leopard is also a container for this deep cultural history. It's literally the pulse of who we are together. And the book's definition of culture is just wow. Ain't what you wear, it's what you share. It's the architecture of your soul built in real time. So it's not about clothes or superficial things, it's a living spiritual blueprint. It's the very architecture of our souls being built right now. And the Leopard of Funk is the one who shows us that this shared culture of ours is a sacred living thing. All right, let's pull this together. The leopard is a mirror for looking at yourself. It's embodied in the rhythm of our culture. But the book doesn't stop there. It takes it one massive step further. And this is where it gets wild. It argues that all of it, the self, the culture, the rhythm, it's all part of a divine mathematical order. And the author gives the system a name, the supreme calculus. Now, the core idea here is that the universe isn't just random chaos. Nope, it's a living code, an ordered system. And within this system, abstract things like wisdom and power can actually be balanced out, like an equation, to reveal one single unified divine truth. And take a look at this. This is a perfect example from Canto 7 of how it works. You see how these pairs of ideas, knowledge plus equality, wisdom plus power, understanding plus culture, they all balance out to the number 7. That is the supreme calculus in action. It's a system that's literally designed to be a remedy for confusion. It shows how things we think are totally separate are actually just perfectly balanced parts of one divine whole. But this idea of balancing things, of reconciliation, it doesn't just apply to concepts. It goes all the way down to language itself. The appendix of the book asks this really mind-bending question. What if all the different alphabets in the world, what if they're not separate at all, but just broken pieces of a single hidden divine image?
So, the author runs this incredible thought experiment. The idea is that the original word of God got shattered and confused over time, kind of like the story of the Tower of Babel, right? So, to find the original source code, he takes the most basic letter, A, from three huge traditions: English, Hebrew's Aleph, and Arabic's Aleph, and he overlays them inside a tetrahedron, which is a sacred geometric shape. He's basically trying to reverse engineer and reassemble what was broken apart. And what he gets is this brand new symbol. He calls it the man in the house. And he connects this directly to the Merkaba, that mystical divine chariot from Jewish mysticism that's basically a vehicle for traveling to higher levels of understanding. The implication here is just huge. It's saying that if we can reconcile our different languages, our different beliefs, using this spiritual math, we can literally rebuild that divine vehicle and finally understand the unified word of God that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Okay, so we've seen the leopard as a mirror, as a rhythm, and as part of a cosmic equation. So what's the point? What's the ultimate goal of figuring all this out? Well, that brings us to the final transformation.
And here is the absolute key takeaway. Understanding this whole leopard thing isn't just some intellectual game. It's a blueprint. It's a roadmap for real inner change. Decoding the symbol means reforming yourself. It's about finally figuring out how to change your own spots.
The author calls this final state a resurrection of measure. And this is where he ties everything directly to his interpretation of Jesus. He argues that Christ is the ultimate example of this kind of transfiguration, a being who was raised, as one canto puts it, not from death, but from density. So in this whole system, Christ is the ultimate remedy for confusion, the perfect example of reconciliation. The reformed leopard, then, is what you become when you follow that same path, when you realign yourself with that divine cosmic math and achieve a whole new state of being.
So let's just do a quick recap of this incredible journey. It starts with the leopard as a symbol for looking at yourself. That self-reflection gets its beats from the rhythm of culture. The whole thing is explained by the logic of a cosmic math. And where does it all lead? To a reformed, new version of yourself.
And like the author says right in the preface, this isn't a closed system. It's a cipher. And get this, it's one that requires your own reflection to complete its circuit. This book isn't just something you read. It's an interactive tool. It literally doesn't work unless you, the reader, show up and bring yourself to the mirror.
And that leaves us with the final and really the most important question of all. The entire book is a mirror. It's a leopard with golden eyes staring right back at you. So the question it's really asking is, what do you see?